Hey Heartland family, Pastor Ethan here with another Walk the Path video from Sunday's message. This week we talked about Matthew chapter 4, 12 through 25. Yep. And we discussed a lot of different things, where Jesus moved after John the Baptist was arrested to Capernaum and in the region of the Galilee, and what that meant for him regionally. We talked about what it means to fish for people and Jesus healing and the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. Some of the things, we talked about a lot of really interesting aspects of this half of a chapter. One of the things I think that was the most applicable for our everyday lives is that when Jesus said, "Follow me and I will make you fish for people," we talked about how from a Jewish perspective, there's this idea that the sea, the ocean, any deep water represents Genesis chapter 1 chaos to an ancient Jewish mind. That when they were on the sea, it was the symbol of chaos and disorder and darkness and how God in Genesis chapter 1 turned that darkness and chaos into order and into something beautiful. And how when Jesus says, "I will make you fish for people," there's this idea that when you're pulling something out of the chaos and into order. And I think that there's a very real aspect of that in our everyday lives. When we're called by God into His kingdom, we're pulled from chaos into order. And this week, maybe I would challenge us to, maybe there's somebody you know and their life is chaos. Maybe this is time to enter into that chaos, to step into that a little bit and to try to help them out of that chaos. Whatever that looks like. Maybe you got somebody in your mind right now that you're thinking of that you can pull out of the chaos. But I know also a lot of you are in recovery that are listening to this as well. And so also to be mindful not to allow them to pull you into their chaos. So be mindful of that when you're entering someone else's chaos. But this is part of what we're supposed to do, right? Where Jesus tells us to make disciples of all nations. And making disciples is bringing people from an old kingdom into a new one, right? It's a new king and a new kingdom. There's a lot of chaos that goes away when we bring them into that new world. So that's what we're supposed to do. And so identify someone this week. And maybe it won't happen this week, but maybe you can start reaching out your hand towards them in the deep water. And maybe they'll grab yours and you can pull them out. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you Sunday.